morning. So in this journey of experiencing the truth of the self, we find a master. The master comes in our lives because of our eternal search. And when the time is right, we find the right master. But that's just the beginning of the process. Because coming to a master and learning from the master, there will be a lot of phases of our growth, of our journey. And each phase, reveals something to us. And every time we think we've reached at the top, we end up starting again because something else comes in and we kind of fall for certain experiences or emotions. So as we start to absorb from the master all that we are yearning for, at that point of time we are so aware of why we have come to the master, and we are so focused on our learning that the outside world and the people around don't matter to us. And we are just on our path, and we are absolutely focused on our own learning and implementing, and the pinpricks of the people around do not bother us. And then we start to grow. Then there are changes that start coming. We start experiencing things that we've never experienced before. And from within we feel that this is an authentic experience, because we are getting the answers that we have not got before. We are getting the experiences that we have yearned for. And so we start feeling fulfilled. We start feeling happy inside. And as that happens, we start feeling that somehow we are better than the others. We are different from the others. Since others are not, and others are still struggling, others are not able to see it. And we keep making this refrain again and again. Why can't they see it when I am seeing it? And so somewhere, slowly, a bit of ego starts to arise, that I am better than the other. And the Guru is very clever. The Guru will keep reinforcing that ego and will keep telling in front of others that this one is better. And because the Guru wants to see how much the seeker is going to fall in the trap of the Guru. He'll keep lifting you up and your ego will keep growing. And now suddenly you are so aware of people around you, and you are able to see, because you have this feeling of being better than the others, you start experiencing the inadequacies of others, and you start reacting to them. And the ego's trap is fully laid, and we keep getting stuck in that trap of the ego. And then we start forgetting why we are here, why we came, who we are with, and what's the idea of being on this. So this is a continuous play. This is a drama of life. Actually, because of just this drama is why we are born again and again. It's not that in this lifetime we've got this. In previous lifetimes also we experience things. But then somewhere the ego comes and we fall. And I have experienced myself getting into this when I was not aware. And I see others, falling in it. But it's something that only when you fall in it many times, but you catch yourself and laugh at yourself and see it as a game and say, I can repeatedly fall in this trap. Only then will you be able to see it for what it is, without feeling either bad about it, without feeling guilty about it. If you're able to see it, that how beautifully this keeps us trapped. At one moment when you are rising in your consciousness, in your awareness, how beautiful the feeling is. and how happy you feel that you're reaching near your goal. And then slowly, how you slip. And then you realize that, oh, it's always a play of the awareness. As that feeling comes, we don't even know that there is an ego taking birth inside and how it's beginning to expand. And then suddenly you fall down with a thud and it hurts. And you say, ouch, that hurt. And then you realize, oh my God, I have to start all over again. But then what you do? You tell yourself, no, this time I'm going to be careful. This time in this journey, in this trip, it's like playing a video game. Every time we played a video game and we started to feel very good about it, that we were clearing the rounds, we became a little overconfident. And then we realized we got caught and the game ended. And he said, oh, I became too overconfident. So that's it. If you are humble, you'll never be overconfident. In fact, the signs of a mature sadhaka who's reached somewhere is humility. And that humility itself, people think humility is weakness. Humility is not weakness. Humility is that ultimate understanding of who you truly are. And sometimes what happens when we are in a Gurukula and others come and the others are who they are, instead of accepting them, we are looking at their faults or what they are making us experience. Some make us feel good, we like them. Some who make us uncomfortable, we start to think that the problem lies there. Remember, we have to look at every time within that if someone is triggering something in us, we are to look within and see why we are getting triggered. Sometimes we just withdraw for no rhyme or reason. That withdrawal is not coming from humility. That withdrawal is not coming from the knowingness. That withdrawal is actually coming as a reflex to certain type of people. And then we start feeling absolutely disconnected. And we start feeling a gap, we start feeling that we are getting distanced. And the old melancholy and sadness starts coming in. So we have to watch why we are doing what we are doing. What is our motive? How are we feeling inside? And so anytime any reaction is coming in us, right at the initial phase we can catch it. Just go within and see, what's this? If you are just aware, no reaction will come. You'll watch and it'll go. You'll watch it come and go. And you'll realize that this is what it is and it will come. It comes to everyone. And what I usually do when I see there are certain characters who really invoke strong feelings, at that moment I do my inner chant of love, 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 love. And suddenly I feel my energy is getting focused on that person, and then I start covering that person with love. Just energetically, I just put a shield of love on that person. And I see that after a while that person's energy starts changing. And then I realize, oh, okay, they're actually coming here only to seek that love. And also know for a fact, and we have experienced this so many times, and especially when we deal with children, we see it very often. But it's not with children, it's with every human being, that whenever as a teacher or as a parent, you tell them something that they are doing repeatedly, and if you want to bring them a learning or a lesson, they will, at the first instance, they will react. They will deny, they will disagree. There are some who instantly start defending themselves, right? They instantly react. That's a natural reaction. And you, as a teacher, know that you still have to do what you have to do despite an adverse reaction, because you're not there to please anybody. You're there to tell them what they need to know, knowing fully well that after this reaction is over, in some time, they will absorb it. It's just our way of receiving. We don't receive it in silence, we receive it from our lower mind, and therefore we react. But ultimately, everybody, even if it is your teenage children or grown-up children or even grown-ups, they might have reacted while receiving what you have told them, because they are agitated, because there is ego, because there is a lower mind, because you feel that it's an attack on your sense of beingness, and you feel hurt, you feel angry. But deep inside you know that if it has angered you, there is a truth in it. And it does go in. It takes time. So you got to do what you got to do. Remember, you do your best and leave the rest. You're not doing it because you are looking for any results. You're doing it because you know you have to share. Because it's only a good teacher who can point out to us what we are unaware of. And in our sober moments, we have the appreciation of what we got. So this is how the journey goes of the various experiences that we get. And the ultimate sadhaka is the one who is unimpacted by all of them, in whom the love starts to flow, and in whom everything is just an experience to reflect and contemplate how far I have reached on the journey of love. Am I able to love all, or am I able to love only some who are pleasant and nice to me? Am I able to love everyone equally? Because if you focus on love, then you will not see any weaknesses or faults in people. You will only see love. You just focus on that aspect. But if we focus on their shortcomings, then we will only have a negative experience inside us. So I've always realized that you choose on love, you choose love, and you will only get love back. When we say withdraw, we don't have to physically withdraw. We have to withdraw. Inner feelings have to be withdrawn. Inner instincts have to get withdrawn, so that they are not reacting any longer. But physical withdrawal is what then causes a further chasm or further gap. And sometimes it's so difficult to bridge it. Coming back seems so difficult. And you can get lost in it. And we've lost so many opportunities in many lifetimes. How many times I have to get you guys back? Because this is how we have wasted our lives, in these reactions and withdrawing and then getting lost again and then starting all over. So awareness is the key.
It's like even if a master says something, what is happening within, that time also it pricks you. But then because you're not able to see what is happening within. But also in the same way, if you are able to see what is happening within, that time also it pricks. The feeling is same if it is coming from outside or if we are looking from within. It is still the same feeling. It's just that, are we able to see? Only if we are able to see, at the end we only have to see. Even if someone says, if we are not able to see it, we might feel hurt and just ignore it. But if we are able to see it, we might feel hurt. But are we able to come out of that hurt and just see it and let it pass?
Yeah, so it comes back to our old saying, as we perceive, so we receive. So this pricking, this hurt is because of we are perceiving it through the filters of our mind, of our lower mind, and that's why it hurts. Instead, if you were to use whatever I've been saying, the technique of actually, at that time you have to understand that's a game. We are mastering life. And we've done very well so far. Why it becomes heavy with stick? Why can't you laugh at the stupidity of, this? This is the reason why we feel so heavy and so engaged. If you were to see it as a game and see it so lightly, because in the end, next moment you might die. The physicality your truth is not your physicality, and you are giving so much importance to your physicality. That's why I keep saying, wear your physicality very lightly. And that your job in this life is only to master this. And when you slip, laugh, oh my God, I did it again. I'm telling you, I've done this, it's so beautiful. It becomes such a good game. Then you come back and say, oh, I'm going to do it now. It's how you approach it. You guys are approaching it with such heaviness. On the imaginary stakes you have created in life. You're not able to come out of this, strong grip you have on this world. And therefore you're falling in it. But if you were to look at it as something that you have come to master, and time is ticking, and you're telling yourself, I've got to do this, man. It's okay. You can bring in enthusiasm and joy in this, and you can clear off in no time. But you're just, for some strangest of the reasons, you're just in a state of heaviness and holding yourself back. Be light and free like me. Come, joke, joy, have joy in your heart. Go and, do things in a merry state. I will keep doing what I'm doing. If you guys are going to start feeling pricky about it, it's good luck. Because I keep saying you don't stop functioning from your mind. In the end, I just leave it. I said, okay, Because we are doing actions. I see, everyone who comes here, you keep using your mind, you keep doing things in your own pattern. More I try to, show you your pattern, but we keep doing things. In every action there is a pattern. But we are not aware of it, we keep doing. Because we are so consumed in worship, we are not opening our awareness. We are looking at doing things in perfection, but we are not doing it with awareness. We're just in the doership mode. Action, 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 action. But action with awareness is not happening. That's the difference. Action is happening. Aware action is not happening. That's the difference. It's the bhavam, is the way you're looking at it. That day, one day it will come. When you will contemplate before you do an action. Here we do it with the mind, what we like, what we dislike, we do it like that. The action has not been born out of awareness.
But then that is not even contemplation. It is just the awareness. If you're seeing it, you don't even have to contemplate.
No, to see it you have to first contemplate. Because otherwise, if you are not in the habit of contemplating, you'll never see it. Contemplation is the pre-step, and this is where all fall, because you don't contemplate. That's why we end up doing what we do. Had we contemplated, we will not do it like that. We will do it differently.
Then there will be a gap between a response.
Yeah, that's why we said no, the response is supposed to be with gap, but reaction is instant. That's why we say, because we are, despite I keep saying, not understanding what contemplation is. And so next day I see in the morning same set of action happening, and I know there is no contemplation. And it's so easy to lose this. Yes, you have to. I have reminded hundreds of times. You guys have to pick this up and start bringing it in your, this thing. Aware action, not action.
Not slow. Everything will become slow in the sense that you're first seeing your you're seeing what is happening in front of you, you're then looking at it and then responding to it.
Yeah. Because you're not in the habit of it. And who says you need to, do an instant response? Only those things require instant response which are routine, and though they don't require contemplation.
Even routine also requires, like there might be few things which we just do it.
Yeah, but then
we might not be doing it with awareness.
But for that you need to have done contemplation when you're sitting by yourself and you're thinking about it. So initially it might seem that there is a gap between your contemplation and your response, but then once it becomes a part of you, it happens instantly. There's no gap. It's just that because we are not in the habit of contemplating. Remember we discussed that even while cooking food we can do our contemplation. Even while gardening we can do contemplation.
It happens constantly. It's just when we are doing things, it happens here and there.
It happens. Yeah. So it's just a question of awareness. And that's how it comes in, no? Much closer observation. And it will start changing very quickly.
Then there's this also, right? If we are in the awareness of who we are, Satchitanand, that is constantly there, then the awareness of everything that we are doing, everything around us, the balance of these, the balance of who I am and the balance of the things that is happening around, and seeing that also with awareness and still being in that state. Did I put it correctly?
No, I don't understand your question, but I've picked it up energetically. See, when I am in the state of Satchitananda, then all the actions I am performing are out of that state of being in my awareness. What is Satchitananda? That I know who I am in the awareness all the time that I am that, and therefore by virtue of that all my actions that I am performing produce joy for me. I remain unaffected. I remain in that state of constancy. So this is who I am. When I am in that, I will engage the world and the people around me through that only. It's my own thing. It has nothing to do with who you are and what you're doing to me. Because if something from the outside is changing my awareness of who I am, then I am not in my awareness, then that means you have the power to come and change my awareness. But remember, my focus is not on you.
Focus is within me.
The focus is inside me and I am holding that. And that is me operating out of my own I am state. And so I am no longer dependent or on what's happening outside me and what people are doing. So therefore I always remain in balance. And I know that wherever I go, I am the carrier of that. I am that love. And I carry that love instead of saying that, the love should come to me from outside. So wherever it is, no matter what they are doing and how they are performing and what's happening in the environment that you are going in, you know that you are that and you carry that with you. And by being who you are, you can start shifting the environment around.
Yeah, that is one aspect. There is another thing that was, so like say for example, again going back to that instant reaction, what I did. So still being in that state and still reacting. So how will be that balance done? Like awareness is there of who I am, but here we are talking about awareness of everything else also around.
So when you are aware, you are aware. Awareness doesn't mean, it is not restricted to the self. Awareness means that there is something in you which is now awake, which is now alert. It is alertness. We say be aware, be alert. It is that alertness with which you are seeing everything. You are able to, how many times during the day you observe me seeing things which some of you don't see. It's the same thing. It's just because you are operating out of awareness. Awareness means not just being aware of yourself, being aware of everything. And awareness is not qualitative. Awareness is just being present. And when you're present, you're able to see so much more than what the other person is seeing, that's all.
It's that stillness, it's that just there.
Yeah, just that. And slowly you'll observe that how come just by coming in, instantly you're able to see everything. The seen and the unseen, the heard and the unheard. That is awareness, true awareness. It just comes. You don't have to focus on it, it just comes. And it has no outside trigger. It's just your inner state of being.
So then again, this is a process.
It's a process.
Because once we have that awareness of who I am, once that Satchitanand state is there, then automatically that becomes the constancy.
And that becomes the filter. Remember, as you perceive, so you receive. That becomes the filter through which you are perceiving everything now. And not from your lower mind. And therefore, you are able to see things in a much larger prism, in a much larger vision, and where everything is so expanded to you. Because you're not caught up in the pulls and pushes of your lower mind, which is creating all this reactions inside. Which does not get you caught in impatience.
So then it is extremely important for someone to experience that state. Then only that filter can come. If you have not experienced it, then how can someone even have that filter of coming out of lower mind and just seeing from that awareness, even if you have not experienced it?
Yeah, so that's why it is a experiential journey, and you go through that process, and you do, remember everybody says intermittently people do experience, but we do not go and do manana saying when did we get it and when do we lose it. If you are a student of life, you must ask yourself those questions. If you're really interested in sadhana, then during the day you should know when you were there and how you've experienced, and when you were not there and how you experienced. You have to start asking yourself this, and you learn from that. That is contemplation.
And that is when we see when we are not there, it is then the heaviness creeps in, and then the mind creeps in, and then all the stories creeps in, and then the whole whirlpool comes back, and then the whole cycle comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times I see impatience in people. And that impatience comes from our lower mind. We just don't know how to remain like that. Whatever is happening around you, just stop there. Hold on. The mind is working so actively. It is already thinking, we're getting late, we're doing this, we're doing that, and we're getting stuck in that. And at that moment say, hello, stop. It will happen. Be patient. Be patient.